Hi folks, welcome to Bad Barry's Bar. As you know, I'm Bad Barry and this is Bad Barry's Bar. So come in, sit down and listen to the couple of jokes I've got for you today. And then we've got Christy, I think she's got a couple of jokes for you as well. Well, a joke I heard that I thought was quite funny was about this guy, and he's an expert on wasps. He knew all the different types of wasps around the world. He knew all the sounds they all made. And he was a real avid collector of wasps. He had loads of them in containers in his house. He was a real expert. And he was going by a record shop one day, and he happened to look in the window, and there in the window was a 12-inch record, Wasp Sounds. And he thought, well, I've never heard of this before. This is great. So he went in and he bought this record, you see, took it home and played it. Well, the next day he came back to the shop owner and said, this record, he said, it's wrong. He said, it's supposed to be Wasp Sounds. He said, I know all the sounds of all the wasps, and none of these are wasp sounds. So the record shop owner took the record and looked at it. He said, oh, he said, you've been playing the B side. A story with a sting to it. One other one here talking about animals and insects. And this is about a gorilla. And this big gorilla goes into a bar, plonks down. The bartender walked over and the gorilla said, give me a martini, please. Well, the bartender looked at the gorilla and he went away. He mixed up a martini, he walked back, and the gorilla handed him a $10 bill. He thought, well, that's amazing. So the old bartender went back to the cash register and he took the money out and he thought, well, I'll just see how this goes. And he just took a $1 bill out. These animals always want to get in on the act. He took a $1 bill out and he took it back and gave it to the gorilla, and the old gorilla said nothing, just put it into his waistband. So after a little while, the bartender went over to the gorilla and he said, it's really strange seeing you in here. He said, we don't see many gorillas in here. And the old gorilla said, I should think not with martinis at $9 a shot. All right, enough of that, poor bartenders. Okay, Christy, have you got a story you want to tell here?
Yeah. So I found out why cats like drinking out of a toilet. Do you know why? Well, my mother-in-law said it's because it's cold in there. And I thought to myself, how does she know that? So there's a farmer. He has a dairy farm. So he's sitting outside milking one of his cows. He gets into a good rhythm when all of a sudden a fly starts buzzing around his head. And then all of a sudden it disappears. It flies into the cow's ear. And then it shoots out the udder. And he said, damn, I forgot. Goes in one ear and out the other.
I don't know who thinks he's up. It sure isn't us. That's for... I've got a little, not a funny story, but one of the happenings back in my life when I was younger, when I lived out in Singapore and Malaya. And I used to have a cat out there, Tinker. My wife and I lived in a big hotel complex with a huge driveway around the front. And when we went to work in the morning, our car was parked in the garage, which is right at the bottom of this big front yard. So whenever we went to work, this cat, old Tinker, used to follow us down. He would walk down the monsoon ditch at the side of the drive and jump in and jump out and follow us all the way to the garage and sit there while we went off to work. And people said, we always know when you're coming home in the evening because he can hear the sound of your car. I had a TR3 sports car. And they said, whenever you're coming home, he runs down from wherever he is and he sits on the front porch waiting for you every day. Isn't that great to have a little cat like that? Well, a year or so later, I moved up to Kuala Lumpur, which is 300 miles from Singapore, up in Malaya. And I didn't take my cat with me the first week. I left him with a friend of mine. Within a week later, when I'd got settled into this hotel where I was staying until I'd got a house, I went back to Singapore because I was entered in some motor racing down there. And I thought, well, when I go back to Kuala Lumpur, I'll take the cat back with me. So had a weekend, did my motor racing, everything was fun. Sunday evening, picked up my cat, put him in my TR3 and set off back for Kuala Lumpur. Well, it was a miserable night. It started pouring with rain. I mean, tropical rain really coming down. And the roads up there to Kuala Lumpur is just a 2-lane road with a huge monsoon ditch each side, and you've got jungle both sides of the road. Sometimes you've got the rubber plantations, the rubber trees, but it's pretty dismal and the roads are pretty much empty. Well, I got over the causeway into Malaya, through Johor, got into the jungle and, would you believe it, have a puncture. And it's pouring with rain. I thought, oh, damn it. So opened the door, got out. No sooner did I open the door and then the cat's out into the damn jungle, pouring with rain, pitch black. Where's the cat? So now I'm calling out, Tinker, 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 come on, Tinker. Not a sound. Well, within a minute, I'm soaked all the way through, you know. You can guess my thoughts on what I thought about cats at that stage. Anyway, Tinker didn't appear, so I thought, well, I better change the tyre. So I changed the wheel on the car. Then I thought, well, I can't leave the cat in the jungle, that's for sure. Tinker, Tinker, Tinker. In the end, I got a long twig with some leaves on it, and I'm flashing this thing around, and suddenly I hear some meowing. So I go over, and there's Tinker right in the middle of a bamboo clump where I can't get to it. So here I am in the rain, controlling my inner emotions. Tinker, 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 thinking I'm going to strangle you when I get you. Tinker, come on, I'm waggling my old stick with the leaves on it. Well, eventually Tinker came out. I got her in the car, and off we go to Kuala Lumpur. Well, she quietened down in the car. It wasn't too bad a drive. But then when I got right up near Kuala Lumpur, I came around a bend in the road where a hillside had been cut away, and it's still pouring with rain. And there was laterite had run across the road. Laterite is a mud that they have out there. It's a brown mud, and they use laterite for surfacing roads because when they spread it and it dries, it's like concrete, this laterite. But when it's wet, it's really slippery. Well, I came around this bend. Boy, I did a 360-degree spin in the road. I mean, luckily there's no traffic. Just clipped the bank. I thought, what the hell is going on? I've just been racing, didn't have this sort of trouble. Of course, it was my spare wheel. And when I found out when I got back, my tyres were the new radial tyres, which are sort of oval shaped, and I had the old square tyre, and it was about 2.5 inches bigger than the other tyres, didn't have the same grip, and that's why my car had spun. So I thought, boy, this has been some trip and a half. Well, you know, to add insult to injury, I got back to my hotel with Tinker, and I found out then that the resident singer at the hotel, Trudy, had 3 tomcats. So I brought my little Tinker into a den of 3 tomcats. Well, needless to say, a day later she disappeared for 2 days. I thought, God damn it, I brought this cat all the way out from Singapore, went through all this trouble, and she's gone. Well, 2 days later she reappears all happy and smiling. Sure enough, she's pregnant. Well, a few weeks later I opened my wardrobe door, and on top of my rugby gear there are 3 little kittens. She'd given birth on top of my rugby gear. Wonderful little kittens. So of course I had all the pleasure of those growing up until I could, you know, get them out. People took them off my hands and that. So that's just a story of Tinker and Malaya. I mean, they were very happy memories for me, although at the time when I'm out in the pouring rain down by kneeling in the mud trying to say Tinker, Tinker to get her out the bamboo bush, that was a different set of feelings altogether, believe me. But I do love cats, and you probably saw the one today that got up here. We've got 3 cats here, all the same litter. 2 little girls, a little boy. Jason's the one you saw. He's grey and white. The 2 little girls are black and white. And they're really loving cats. They're lovely. So other cat lovers, enjoy them as much as I do. Okay, folks. Well, that's all for tonight. If you like what you saw, press the subscribe button. And we know that you're one of our regulars. And we'll let you know when the new jokes are coming up. And if you've got any comments to make, please send them to me. I'd appreciate it. I've had a couple of jokes sent in by some of you kind people out there, which were very nice. They didn't want to be mentioned by name, so I just told them straight stories. But if you've got a story you'd like to pass on, you can call me or you can email me. Stay safe, and thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you again shortly. Bye.